students. In this period, I would like to continue how the British became supreme over Bengal province. After they became successful over South India, after having brought South India, especially the Carnatic region and Hyderabad region under their control, the British diverted their attention over rich Bengal, Bihar, Odisha and Awadh province in North India. Say the Bengal province, the Odisha, Bihar and Awadh. These regions were quite rich as far as the agriculture, commerce and industries are concerned. The British wanted to extend their power over this particular region because they were the regions which were quite prosperous in the field of agriculture, commerce and trade. And the British were given a kind of licenses to carry out the trade over Bengal province from Mughal ruler Farrukh Siyar. Farrukh Siyar, in the beginning of the 18th century, he had given permission and license to carry out the trade and commercial activities over Bengal region. And these licenses to carry out the trade without paying the taxes to the government of Bengal or to the Nawab of Bengal were known as dastakats. Say, the issue of dastakats by the Nawab of Bengal encouraged the British to carry out the trade without any difficulty and without paying any taxes. So, the British merchants were growing prosperous. As a result of the free license given to the British traders as well as to some other European traders, the Bengal faced, or the Nawab of Bengal faced economic loss. Gradually, the government of Bengal or the Nawab of Bengal started to face huge loss to the state treasury. And this was quite opposed by so many Nawabs, right from the Nawab of Nawab of Bengal called Murazid Ali Khan to Alivardi Khan. Right from the Nawab of Murazid Ali Khan to Alivardi Khan, this issue of dastakats was opposed as the British and some other Europeans were carrying out the trade activities without paying any taxes. That was a free trade or tax-free trade was being carried out by the European companies. Hence, the Bengal government or Nawab was facing the economic loss. So, different Nawabs opposed it. Different Nawabs from Murashid Ali Wardi Khan too. Even the Nawab called Sirajuddin, Nawab called Sirajuddin, this issue of dastakats were being opposed. Say, as a result of such kind of things or developments that were taking place in Bengal, the situation led for two decisive wars. The situation developed in Bengal region favored for the situation of two battles to take place. The two battles are the major or crucial battles that took place between the British and the Nawab of Bengal were. One was the Battle of Plassey and another was the Battle of Buxar. In these two decisive battles, the British became successful and they became the true masters of Bengal region. Not only Bengal, but also Bihar, Odisha and other regions were brought under their supremacy. And how these battles took place? What were the reasons behind the Battle of Plassey and the Battle of Buxar? And what were their results? In the sense, outcomes. What were the outcomes of the two battles called the Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar? At the beginning, let us just see something about the Battle of Plassey. The Battle of Plassey took place in the year 1757. Plassey is a place which is north to Kolkata. A war had broken out between the British East India Company and the Nawab of Bengal. The major reasons for the Battle of Plassey to take place were misuse of dastakats. Misuse of dastakats. Second one is mending of codes without permission. And third major reason, or of course can be called as an immediate reason for the Battle of Plassey to take place, was Black Room Tragedy, or it may be called Black Hole Tragedy. Say, what are these? To say in detail, somewhat I try to explain in brief. Misuse of dastakats. Dastakats were the licenses or a kind of license which was issued by the Mughal ruler. It was started to be issued during the reign of Farooq Shah, and it was continued even up to the rule of Shah Alam II. See, in the beginning of, in the first half of the 18th century, the issuing of dastakats was quite common. As a result of that, the British were enjoying free trade over this northeastern region of India, especially in Bengal, present Bangladesh also. See, what was this? Dastakat was a license which could authenticate or made the British authoritative to carry out the trade without paying any taxes, or any person, any European company could have import and export. Any European country could have import or export any good without paying the tax. And also, any kind of commodity could have been transported without any duties, transport taxes. So, this provision given by the Mughal rulers was started to be misused by the company officials. The Mughal ruler gave this kind of permission for the company to have the trade, but even the other company officials, the officers working in the British East India Company, some British citizens, and so many other European companies started to misuse this. As a result of that, the income to the Nawab of Bengal, went down, because the trade would have been continued without paying the taxes. That is why the misuse of the dastakats resulted more loss for the Nawab of Bengal. So he started to face economic loss, and the state treasury was on the verge of bankruptcy. The state treasury of the Bengal state was on the verge of bankruptcy. And the second most important reason is mending of ports without permission. The British East India Company, especially under the guidance of Robert Clive, the British East India Company started to repair the ports there in Calcutta. The Port William, a huge port which was built by the British East India Company in order to store their merchandise, and they started to repair and strengthen its walls without taking the permission by the Nawab of Bengal. And they also started to place cannons in the main gates of the Port William. In the sense, they started to equip the port with the weapons, especially with the huge cannons. Hence, the Nawab of Bengal was much threatened with these developments of British, because he thought that the British could start or declare war anytime. Hence, he opposed this act of the British. Then another act or another most important reason, or of course the immediate reason for the Battle of Plassey to take place was Siraj-ud-Dawla, the Nawab of Bengal, who came to the throne after the death of Alivardi Khan in 1764. He was enraged by all such kind of developments of the British. He became more angry, so he invaded Fort William of Kolkata. Present Kolkata, then it was called Calcutta. He invaded or made siege over the port of William at Calcutta. There, a kind of mild war took place between the soldiers of Nawab of Bengal and the soldiers of British. There, Siraj-ud-Dawla had imprisoned about 146 British soldiers along with some other British citizens. About 146 British were imprisoned in a small room. They were jailed there. And out of 146 British officials imprisoned, 123 British officials were suffocated to death. They died because of the suffocation. He put them in the small compartment or in small room and he locked it. So because of the problem of respiration, about 123 people died, which is known as, or it has become infamous as, a black room tragedy, or it is also called black hole tragedy. So this was the major reason or a immediate reason for the Battle of Plassey to take place. So the battle was started in the year 1757. Robert Clive declared the war and he invaded the court of Siraj-ud-Dawla, and before he could invade, he made some agreements with some rich locals of Bengal. In the sense, before he could invade the Bengal state, he made agreements with some rich locals of Bengal, like Jagat Seth and some other rich merchants were wooed by Robert Clive, and he also gave an offer of the post of Nawab to Mir Jafar. Mir Jafar, who was the commander of the Bengal's army, he was the commander of the army of Bengal. He was given the attraction of the post of Nawab if he could help Robert Clive or British East India Company in the war. So Mir Jafar agreed for this offer of Robert Clive, and when the battle started, Mir Jafar did not work in support of his king Siraj-ud-Dawla. The fierce battle took place, and the rich merchants or the rich locals of Bengal, they also did not support Siraj-ud-Dawla. They started to support British East India Company. Say rich officials like Manik Chand, Jagat Seth, such kind of persons also did not support the native ruler, they supported British. So as a result of such kind of developments on the battlefield, the British became upper hand in the war. Siraj-ud-Dawla was defeated. He was defeated and killed in the battlefield. So after the death of Siraj-ud-Dawla, the army of Bengal scattered. It ran helter-skelter. So war came to an end, bringing a huge victory to the British and a humiliated defeat to the Bengal's army. See, what were the outcomes of this war? So, as it was earlier agreed, Mir Jafar was named as the Nawab of Bengal. British made Mir Jafar as the Nawab of Bengal. And this Battle of Plassey brought out immorality, disunity among the Indians, and greed of the Indian rich people. In the sense, out of the Battle of Plassey, we come across, it showed, the Battle of Plassey showed there was a lot of disunity among the Indians, and it showed the immorality among the Indians as well as among the British, and also the greed of the Indian businessmen was made known to the British. Greed of the Indian businessmen, in the sense, some rich Indian businessmen can be wooed or bribed, they thought, by paying money or by offering any kind of attractions. They could have been attracted or they could have been brought to their side, they thought. And British East India Company got the right over Bengal region to carry out the business. In the sense, company got the rights over Bengal region, and Mir Jafar had to pay the penalty of the war to the British. In the sense, whatever the loss the British had faced because of the Battle of Plassey, that loss was to be compensated by the Indian ruler. So they put it on the head of Mir Jafar. So Mir Jafar paid 17 crore 70 lakh rupees to the British East India Company. So after this, some other kind of developments took place in Bengal region. Say Mir Jafar was made the Mir Jafar was made the Nawab of Bengal after the death of Siraj-ud-Dawla, because Mir Jafar was attracted by the British. If he could have supported the British in the Battle of Plassey, he would have been made the Nawab of Bengal. So he supported the British, and the British won the battle, and they made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal. After he becoming the Nawab of Bengal, the company started to exploit him economically. The company started to exploit him economically, in the sense they started to ask many more concessions by Mir Jafar for the British to carry out the trade. And the greed of the British officers increased. They started to take so many concessions or facilities by Mir Jafar. As a result of that, Mir Jafar faced a huge economic loss. He faced a huge economic loss. So, the British East India Company started to think that Mir Jafar was an inefficient administrator. They started to project him as an inefficient administrator. So they removed him from the post of Nawab. Mir Jafar was removed from the post of Nawab, and in his place Mir Qasim was brought to the post of Nawab. Mir Qasim was made the Nawab of Bengal. Mir Qasim who became the Nawab by the support of British after dethroning Mir Jafar from his post. He worked in favor of British for few years. He worked in support of the British for few years. He remained loyal to the British in the beginning, and he paid about 2 lakh pounds every year to the British, and also so many places in Bengal and Bihar region for the British. He gave so many places for the direct rule of the British. But as it continued, as the demand by the British company continued to take concessions, relaxations or facilities by the Bengal government, Mir Qasim became intolerant, even though he was providing so many things to British company. So he started to disobey the orders of British East India Company. When he started to disobey, the rivalries began between the British and the Mir Qasim. And later on he declared independence. He declared himself free from the British, and also having observed the impact of the issuing of the dastakats, how the issue of the dastakats could have been beneficial to the British. Instead of making the British beneficial out of this, he made an act regarding the business there in Bengal about carrying out the trade or business without paying any taxes. He declared the business in Bengal would be duty free. He made business free of taxes. Once business became free of tax, even Indian merchants started to take the advantage of this situation, and they started to compete with the British traders. As a result of that, the British traders or British East India Company started to face loss, because the Indian artists, craftsmen, the businessmen, the tradesmen, all of them started to take the advantage of the free trade over Bengal, Bihar and our region. So the British traders, they started to gradually lose the market. They started to face economic loss. Hence, the British became angry over Mir Qasim's decisions. So once again, they removed Mir Qasim from the post of Nawab. And once again, they reinstalled Mir Jafar to the post of Nawab of Bengal. Say, earlier Mir Jafar, who became the Nawab with the support of British, was removed from the post when he was unable to give them money, or when he was not able to meet the requirements of the British. They brought Mir Qasim in his place. When Mir Qasim was making the plans and projects for the benefit of the native artists and businessmen, as the British started to face loss in trade and commerce, they removed Mir Qasim and they brought Mir Jafar to the position of Nawab of Bengal. So this resulted in another crucial battle to take place between the British and the then Nawab of Bengal, or between the Indian rulers. So that led to the war called Battle of Buxar. So let us just see something about how this Battle of Buxar took place and what were the reasons and how the battle took place and what had happened after the Battle of Buxar. The Battle of Buxar took place in the year 1764 AD. The main reason for the Battle of Buxar was dethrone of Mir Qasim from the post of Bengal. Mir Qasim, he knew the shrewdness, the cunningness of the British. So he did not try to take the support of the British, and he did not ask the British to support him to become the Nawab of Bengal. On the other hand, he met the other rulers of India. He met the Nawab of Awadh, say Suja Uddaula, and Nawab of course, the king of Mughals, Shah Alam. Mir Qasim, the dethroned Nawab of Bengal, he tried to take the support of Sujat Uddhav. He was the Nawab of Awadh and took the support of Shah Alam. Shah Alam second of Mughal. He was Mughal ruler. These three forces were combined and the war was declared on the British. Mir Qasim declared the war with the support of Sujud-Dawla and Shah Alam on British. War took place in the month of October in the year 1764. And the British official Sir Hector Munro of the British East India Company faced the challenge of this triple alliance or the challenge of the Indian rulers. The war took place and an intense battle continued, and ultimately the British became upper hand. The British became upper hand because of they utilized the advanced weapons in the battle. So the British, under the leadership of Hector Munro, they became successful in the war, and Mir Qasim's army, the allied army, was defeated. Sujat-Dawla and Shah Alam surrendered. Mir Qasim was killed on the battlefield. So what happened? The results of the Battle of Buxar were Shah Alam, the king of Mughals or the emperor of India, he had to give some kind of permission to the British to have the trade, legal rights or rights were given to the British legally. In the sense, Diwali rights were afforded to the British. Results of Battle of Buxar. Diwali rights. Diwali rights were given to British. That in the sense, the British became the authorities to collect the taxes legally. In the sense, Diwali rights in the sense, right of collecting the taxes were given by Shah Alam to the British East India Company. They could collect the taxes in these regions, in the region of Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha. So over these regions, the British started to collect the taxes. And Shah Alam gave so many other rights. Shah Alam gave all other rights over these regions to the British, to the annual rent of 26 lakh rupees. In the sense, if the British could give rupees 26 lakh to the British, enjoyed all other rights over Bengal. In the sense, yearly the British gave rupees 26 lakh, the Mughal ruler would not be having any kind of rights for Bengal region. Such thing developed. And Sujud-ud-Dawla, the Nawab of Awadh, who supported Mir Qasim in the Battle of Buxar, he had to pay the penalty of the war to the British. The penalty of the war was fixed rupees 50 lakh. 50 lakh rupees. 50 lakh rupees were to be given by Sujud-ud-Dawla, because for undertaking the repair of the Port of William. So because of that loss to the British company, Sujud-ud-Dawla had to pay that amount. Say, after the death of Mir Jafar, who died shortly after the Battle of Buxar. After the death of Mir Jafar, the British East India Company paid pension to his son and took over the entire powers over Bengal. Company took over, company in the sense British East India Company. Company took over entire Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, and our regions. In this way, the British became masters over the northeastern provinces, say Bengal region, including this present Bangladesh or northeastern region. Bengal, Bihar, Odisha and our regions were brought under the control of the British. Later on, in 1765, Robert Clive introduced dual government. Dual government was introduced in 1765 by Robert Clive. After the introduction of dual government in these regions, the British became the masters of that region. They not just remained only as the traders, but they became the masters. The dual government, the concept of dual government, which was introduced and implemented by Robert Clive, was in such a way that the British could have the rights of collecting the taxes. They retained or they kept the rights of collecting the taxes with them, and the administration, civil administration, along with imparting justice given to the native rulers of India. In the sense, more responsibility was put on the shoulders of the Indian rulers, but the responsibility of collecting the taxes or making income was reserved with the British. That in the sense, whatever the fields through which income could have been mobilized, such kind of powers were retained by the British, and whatever the expensive responsibilities would have been, they were given to the Indian rulers. So this was what? Dual government. So due to this dual government policy, the British company gradually became rich, and the British officials, they grew richer and richer. Like this, the British, after having subdued the Carnatic region, the Hyderabad, they brought this northeastern region under their control. After this, we will be discussing about how the British became successful over this Bombay region and Mysore state, and then over Punjab state. So about which we have the information in the second unit, in the second lesson. Okay, thank you.